just read this article that their favorite is Pete Hegseth. Like, they love Tulsi Gabbard. Then they really liked Vance for a while. I'm talking about like the Russian TV host, like their primetime hosts.
Yeah.
But now they love Hegseth. Hegseth's their guy. It's like they can't decide which one they like more.
Promises that have not been kept to this point. Now, we know the promises back in 2016, 2015, Ron, as you know, he ran on two things for the most part. We're going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. That didn't happen. I'm going to hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. Well, he's done the same thing this time around. Let's start with tax on tips. I was at that Trump rally, the one where I sent you a lot of videos, and he talked about no tax on tips in Las Vegas. His tax plan was released the other day. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's
nothing in there. It's not in there.
It's not in there.
So many of these people voted for this guy just based on that.
It's not even in there. I mean,
right.
It's one thing if you could like put it in there and then after the negotiations go on, like, oh, we had to take it out, compromise. No, he didn't even bother to put it in there. And no tax on Social Security, that right. He promised that's not in there. And I made a list. I wrote an article his maybe the third day after the election. That was my first article I wrote after the election. Yep. And it was categorizing. I went back and watched all of his videos from his campaign, and I listed out 92 things he promised on video that he was going to do. And I can tell you that like he's kept a few of them, but not many. And so I've been waiting for this budget actually before I go back and like show all the promises he's broken. I'm going to give him a little time. I mean, it's only been 4 weeks, but I'm going to wait until the budget gets passed. And then after that happens, which will probably happen in May, I'm going to go back through those 92 and show every single promise that he broke. Well, there's so many. Of those 92, he's probably kept 6 or 7.
Yeah, he did release the January 6th insurrectionist.
He
definitely did that. Let's talk about one very important one. There's a lot of important ones that he won't fulfill, but particularly ending the war in 24 hours. In fact, he said he would end the war and pick up the phone even before his first day. And now it appears as though he's giving concessions to Vladimir Putin. As you remember, when we got Fogel coming back, he had a conversation with Vladimir Putin. And then all of a sudden, Pete Hegseth, hours later, in front of the world, is talking about how NATO and how Ukraine shouldn't be in NATO. And you bet your life, I'd bet my life on it, that was a concession to Vladimir Putin and other things. And it seems like the MAGA Republicans have no problem with rewarding an evil, murderous dictator for invading Ukraine. That's what it appears like to me, Ron.
Yeah, I keep tabs on Russian media every day, and I just read this article that their favorite is Pete Hegseth. Like, they love Tulsi Gabbard. Then they really liked Vance for a while. I'm talking about like the Russian TV host, like their primetime hosts.
Yeah.
But now they love Hegseth. Hegseth's their guy. It's like they can't decide which one they like more. So look, the meeting was today. The memo that was presented to Zelensky was leaked to the Telegraph, which is a London major newspaper in London. Mm-hmm. The memo that was presented by Rubio to Zelensky was leaked to them, and it is shocking. What they want is for Ukraine to sign over 50% of all the mineral rights in perpetuity, like forever, to the United States, and the United States will also get 50% of all their natural resources that are licensed or leased to any other countries or companies. So basically, like, we own 50% of their natural resources of their country for like forever to try and help broker this peace. That is just mob stuff. That is extortion. They pointed out, the Telegraph pointed out, it is a worse deal than the Allies forced on Germany at the Treaty of Versailles in 1918 that ultimately led to World War II happening, because the terms of that treaty were so just crushed the German economy. That's what we are trying to do to Ukraine. So in other words, Russia invades your country, you lose all these soldiers, they take over your territory. You have to give up the territory Russia conquered, and basically half your economy you have to turn over to us, and we'll help you resolve this. I mean, who does this to an ally? Like, this is despicable conduct. And Zelensky rightfully said, this is a non-starter. We're not doing this.
Yeah. I don't
So
blame.
what's ultimately, I think, going to happen is, I've been following this very closely. I think Europe is just going to I don't think this is going to happen. I think Europe is going to have to step up. The U.S. is going to essentially abandon Ukraine. And Europe is going to just have to step up and spend more money to help them, probably by buying U.S. weapons. And it will be very interesting because there's a big chunk of Republicans in Congress that are very pro-Ukraine. There's probably 40 or 50 of them that are hardcore pro-Ukraine. Will any of them say anything? Will any of them speak up if this falls through? That's another thing I'm watching.